What is going on, guys? Good afternoon. My name is Brandon, and today we got a little bit of a welding video to do. I promise this hasn't turned into the chainsaw channel, even though it may seem that way. Look at all this wood. Got quite a bit of wood stacked up here. It's 2 layers deep, and I've cut all of that wood with this. This is that new chainsaw that I picked up, the Lund 306A, and I promise this isn't a chainsaw channel, but this transpired into a welding project that we need to do. So anytime we can turn work into welding, that's always a bonus. Look at some of these pieces of wood that I've cut through, and I've got wicked big hands. I know you guys heard that, but I mean, look how big that is. That was huge. That's a good sized piece of wood. That Lund saw is a 16-inch bar. But yeah, it's real fun to use. I don't know, just kind of nostalgic, you know. You just feel like a badass when you're using it, I guess. It's all throaty, it's loud, it's got no anti-vibration. You know, you just hang on and hope for the best. It's fun. Now, this saw was manufactured between 1970 and they ended manufacturing in 1980. So, for example, if this was the last saw ever built from the Lund factory, this saw is no newer than 38 years old at best. So it's between 38 to 48 years old. This thing is just so fun to use. You know, God forbid you make a mistake, because as you can see, there's no chain brake, there's no nothing. You know, you feel pretty badass when you're using it. So of course I had to go out and buy some gear. So I got the helmet, the screen that's got the earmuffs, and I went out and picked up some chaps. You know, I've never had chaps in my life ever, and I've been cutting wood for years. You know, not as a profession, but as a necessity because I burn wood. But I figure I'm getting older, and chaps are cheap. I think I paid for these maybe around 60 bucks or so. Between the chap, and those are 5-layer chaps, between those and the helmet, it was like 90 bucks. So, you know, you come in contact with a chainsaw with your body, $90 is pretty cheap. You hit your femoral artery with a chainsaw, and that's pretty much a death sentence. So hopefully these will save me. I know I feel a lot safer using them. I picked up this SCRENCH tool, and the reason this is called a SCRENCH is because it's a screwdriver for tightening up the bar and whatnot. Somewhere in there's a screw. There it is, right there, to tension the bar. So it's got a screwdriver, and then on the other end it has a socket or a hex to fit on the nuts for the bar. Well, as you can see, neither of these fit. One's too big, one's too small. I think I paid about $4 for this tool, but in true Lund DIY fashion, rather than replace the tool to try to find the right one for about $4, what we will do is we will pour a bunch of money and time into it. We will add some sockets to it. So this is what I'm thinking. Maybe we'll trim this end off. I will take this old Craftsman socket. We'll probably TIG weld that to the end. That way that'll give us that. Now, while we're doing that, might as well adapt this end to fit something, right? So I've got this saw over here, which so this saw I got brand new in 1993, so that's pretty old too. And you can see that the SCRENCH doesn't fit either of those. These are 5/8 nuts there, so we'll weld a 5/8 socket on the end of those. So what do you say? We'll go down into the shop and do a little bit of welding. Let's get to it. Alright, so we're back down in the shop, and I got a couple ideas. So rather than like weld a socket onto each side, now the Lund saw takes a 9/16 socket, and the Homelight saw took a 5/8 type socket. So what I'm going to do is we're going to prep these sockets up. I'm going to weld the two together, and then we'll chop the screwdriver piece off this and weld it onto that. So, and then we'll throw the rest of that away. So yeah, let's burn up some sockets and a bunch of time and see what we can do. So the first thing we got to do is we got to get all this chrome coating off the sockets. So we got them all ground back now. That way it'll give kind of the weld a place to go. I don't know if you guys should be able to see that in there, right? So I think the best way is we'll just clamp it up into the vise now. So we got it all clamped up. We're all adjusted up nice. That's the bevel. And I think a good process for this is going to be a good TIG project. So now I'm still disgusted with the people for this welder. As you guys know, I feel like I got burned. You know, I did a video on this welder and about, you know, I raved about how I paid $209 for it, and as soon as the you know, you guys started looking at the welder and buying it, the person selling the damn thing jacked the price up through the roof and price gouged everybody. So I'm pretty irritated with that. But so I went out and found the Blue Demon welder, which in my opinion is just as good as this, if not better, because it has a warranty. You know, who knows, this thing will crap out probably in 2 weeks and I'll be left to fix it on my own. But so yeah, the reason I'm not using the Blue Demon for this is the day's getting burned out. I'm running out of time, and this is already set up to my argon bottle, and I've got my Blue Demon welder packed up. But what we are going to do with the Blue Demon welder pretty soon is I'm going to do a 115 volt power test. So we're going to bring it outside. We're going to run various rods. You guys have been asking about it, so that is an upcoming video. So if you see this, even if the guy's giving it away for free, I don't know, tell him to pound sand, I guess. I'm thoroughly disgusted with it. But anyways, enough of that rant. Let's get to welding. I'm going to just start out by tacking, and I'm going to do what's called blast tacking. Just real high heat, hot. You just hold it very briefly. I'm at 105 amps right now, so we're just going to put a lot of heat in it and just kind of fuse the two pieces of metal to each other. Watch your eyes. Alright, let's go a little bit hotter. Let's go 135. Yep, that was much better. Watch your eyes. Yeah, I don't mean to beat a dead horse here, but I'm just so irritated with those guys that that are selling that welder. You know, they've jacked the price of that thing up. I paid $209 for this welder on Amazon, and as soon as they started getting some traffic their way after I did the video, they jacked the price up. It's like $600 on eBay. It's $1,200 now on Amazon. This welder isn't worth $1,200. It's worth $200. I wouldn't give a penny more than $300. So the guy's just being a jerk, and he's price gouging my audience, and that has me kind of furious. So watch your eyes. You know, so that's kind of why I went out and did that follow-up video. That left me scrambling because, you know, I feel like, you know, I try to bring you stuff that's useful. I realize that, you know, we're not all rich, and we have to work for the things that we have, and we can't waste our money on stuff that doesn't work. So I was racing around to try to find a comparable welder that, you know, would be somewhat equivalent to that, if not better. And I was real fortunate to reach out to Blue Demon, and they were super friendly. Just a bunch of good folks, and so you're not going to have those problems with Blue Demon. And it's a wicked good welder. If you guys want to see the review on that, I'll have a link right at the top. I'll put one up there right now, and I'll put it down in the description too, so you guys can check that welder out. Watch your eyes. Alright, we're at 105 amps. We'll see how good that's going to work. I'm not sure. Yep, I think 105 seems pretty good. Let me bring you in and show it to you. Little weave action on there. Alright, it's still scalding hot. I wire brushed it down, and that way you could just see it. Now I got a little bit of undercut. That's what that is right there. And that's a combination of too much heat, not enough filler wire. This isn't a critical part. I'm not really worried about this busting. But so there, now what we got to do is we got to put a handle on this thing. So that's going to be this. We're going to chop this little wrench part off, screwdriver piece off it, and we're going to attach it right to our socket setup. Alright, our scrench is parted ways, and I have ground down the end of it to a little bit of a bevel taper, so I got a place for the weld to go. And I think the best way to do this is I'll just hold this up to the socket and just kind of eyeball everything together, and we'll do a blast tack on it like we have on everything else. Alright guys, here it is. It is done. So this is how you take a $4 tool and turn it into, I don't know how much, what, 2 sockets, maybe let's just say $5, $5, there's 10. Then we actually took the $4 wrench and cut that up to use that part of it. So there's 14, some gas, some electricity, an hour's worth of time. So yeah, let's say between $30 and $50. How's that sound? So yeah, that's how you take a $4 tool and turn it into, say, a $30, $40, $50 tool. But there won't be any missing this, right? I mean, and it feels good in your hand too. So there won't be any doubt about whose that is, right? So yeah, just feels good. I like it. So now we've got one for the home light saw, and we got one for the new to me Poland saw. Alright, so she's a little loose. So now we take our modified SCRENCH tool. Not that side, that side. Loosen the bar a little bit. And come around to this side. Give her a little snug. Let's go a little more. How we doing, Lola? How are you today, Lola? And that's probably going to be pretty good. Let's give her some snugness. And let me set this down while I lift up on the bar a little bit. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And that's all there is to it, guys. I want to thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys don't do it already and you want to follow me on Instagram or Facebook, it'll give you a sneak peek on what I'm doing here on YouTube before it even makes it up to YouTube. I pretty much throughout my builds, I'll just upload, you know, periodic photos or whatnot, and you know, interact with you guys. So if you want to follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you can check that out down below. If you have any questions about the tools that I'm using, that'll also be down in the description. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good day. Until the next one, see ya.